Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.
Happy Friday to you. If so, technical issues, that's essentially what happened here. I was on customer support and they were on the phone with me immediately, and we were trying to troubleshoot everything, and we finally got everything troubleshooted. If you were on the 24-hour channel, you probably got booted off because we had to stop the stream, had to reboot computers, and it was a mess. It was a total mess. But we are here. We are back, and it is Friday, and I'm getting ready for the weekend. I could certainly use a weekend, even though I was in Tahoe earlier this week. But we had some technical issues even on the Tuesday show, so it's Friday. We're here. We're up and running. Let's move on. Let's get this thing going here. So let's start with that dense fog advisory we do have this morning. Listen, here's the deal. The National Weather Service has been kind of just covering their bases on this because we really haven't seen a ton of fog developing in Glenn and Butte counties. There has been some, but they've been issuing these dense fog advisories the day before it actually happens because the conditions are ripe and prime for it. But we really haven't seen a ton of fog in that area, at least very low visibility. So yes, there's a dense fog advisory until noon today, but when we look at the overall visibility, it's good. Most of the low visibility is in Trinity County, where we've typically seen it out towards Weaverville and Hayfork. But look at Oroville. Yeah, you got a little bit of fog over the water, but that's pretty much to be expected, especially this time of the year. But if you look around Chico, we're not really seeing any fog there. Maybe a little bit of low cloud cover in some spots, and maybe some patchy fog. And there you can see Red Bluff on I-5. Interesting, kind of starting this late, we can see more things now because we have more daylight. But looking at Sundial Bridge Drive on Highway 44, things are looking okay over there as far as any fog. So just some patchy fog. This is looking out at Sutter Butte, so it's just south of our area. And you can see a little bit of patchy fog there, but overall some clouds. Hey, by the way, you can stream on a 24-hour streaming channel on YouTube, anywhere YouTube is available. If you have YouTube, most likely, if you have a recent TV in the last 5 years or so, it most likely is a smart TV, which means that majority of these smart TVs already have YouTube on them. And all you have to do is search for Weather NorCal on that YouTube app, and you're watching the 24-hour streaming channel right there. And you can on-demand watch my latest video forecast from your big screen TV. People say to me, I miss you on TV. You don't have to. You can watch on your big screen TV on YouTube, Fire Stick, and even Roku. Yeah, just search for Weather NorCal on your Roku, download that app, and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel from there as well. So yeah, you can watch me on your big screen TV like you used to back in the day when I was in TV. All right, so let's take a look at your Krueger's Quickcast for your Friday, January 30th. Temperatures are in the upper 30s for most of us in the valley, 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. We take a look at out the door this morning, and it is going to be upper 30s. A little bit of that cloud cover out there this morning, but I do expect to see some sun filter through those clouds a bit. There you can see some of the cloud cover off to our west, and that high pressure is actually amplifying a bit in advance of the storm system that is approaching us, a weak one. There you can see by midday, if any fog should develop, it's going to dissipate very quickly, but there is another chance for some patchy fog for your Saturday morning and possibly even for your Sunday morning as well. So looking at Futurecast, just some of the cloud cover we're going to see out there. High, a few mid-level clouds as well, but any rain is being diverted up to our north through the day today. We take you into tonight and take you into tomorrow morning. We're still seeing the rain off to our north and west, so we're going to be dry. Mount Shasta Ski Park is still open as of the latest report. 25 inches at the top of Douglas, groomed, and that firm, groomed, kind of that fresh corduroy is fairly firm in the morning, but it softens up in the afternoon. Look at the chances for rain. Yesterday it was up to 20%. Today it's down to 10% on Sunday, at least for the valley. Keep in mind, the coast is going to see that better chance for rain going into Sunday morning. So for today, we'll call it partly cloudy. I think we're going to see some sunshine, though. Low to mid-60s in the valley, 50s and 60s for the higher elevations. For tonight, around 40, give or take, for the valley. Mainly 30s for the higher elevations. Some of the colder spots like northeast, for example, Doris, Tule Lake, Alturas, in the upper 20s there. And low to mid-40s tonight for the coast. Quick look at your 7-day forecast. I've got the clouds in there for Sunday, but any rain we see is mainly going to be on the coast. If you see a sprinkle early Sunday morning for the valley, especially to the north. Don't be surprised. There's that better chance for rain. And again, what you see there with the rain on Sunday for all of the coast, inland, and even Trinity County, that's mainly in the early morning hours. Should be dry by the afternoon. And I don't have much in the way of rain for anybody else either. So the system coming in on Sunday, it's getting weaker and weaker the more we look at it. Taking a look at your Lake Oroville camera right here, there you can see we are seeing some water, not much in the way of fog out there this morning. It may look a little gray, a little overcast in some spots here, but we are seeing some clearing even on Highway 99 at Neal Road. We take you out to I-5 in Red Bluff. No fog there, at least what we're seeing here on the camera. Again, there may be some of that patchy fog out there in some spots this morning, as we've seen over the last several weeks. Highway 44 at Sundial Bridge Drive. There's a look at Sutter Buttes, a little bit of fog out there, but that's to be expected as most of the fog is to our south as you get closer to the Sacramento region. Take a look at Crescent City Harbor District. Looks like someone's coming in after some fishing, and you can see that we do have some clouds, but that's basically the clouds from the storm system off to our west. Look at that. All the clouds there in Bald Hill West sucked in with some of that fog for some of those mountain valleys off to the west, in particular Trinity County and even the inland areas of Del Norte and Humboldt counties. Look at Mount Shasta, absolutely gorgeous. Do have some clouds upper, right? Not necessarily a lot in the cloud cover below. However, you can see some patchy fog that we are seeing this morning in Scott Valley this morning. All right, let's go and take a look at Lassen Park. Looks gorgeous, got lots of snow. All right, today is Friday. We got our Pet of the Week, which is sponsored by Grange Co-op. And this week, oh, I already forgot the name, but I edited the video this morning. We're going to take a look at, well, the Pet of the Week. Let's just get to it.
Hi, this is Macy with Haven Humane Society, and this is our wonderful, incredible Pet of the Week, Fiddle. Fiddle is a 2-year-old Pit Bull Shepherd Husky mix, and as you can see, he is a goofy, flouncy boy. He's a staff and volunteer favorite. He's also one of my favorites. I absolutely adore this dog. He loves to play fetch. He's terrible at bringing the toys back, but he loves to chase things. He loves squeaky toys as well. He loves to run around in the yards, and after he's gotten some exercise, he walks pretty well in his leash. He really doesn't know a stranger. Everybody is his friend, especially if you have treats or toys to offer him. He is so sweet and affectionate, even though he loves to play with toys. We don't know how he does with cats, but he may do well with another dog. His adoption fee is fully sponsored, so if you're interested in coming down and checking him out, please do. You definitely should. You can come down to Haven Humane to see him or give us a call at 530-241-1653 to make an appointment. Thank you.
Once again, I want to thank Grange Co-op for their sponsorship of Pet of the Week. You can always head on to Haven Humane Society, check out all their animals. And of course, you can call that number on the screen as well. Of course, as you know, Coffee with Krueger wouldn't be possible without our sponsor, and that is at Wind River Resort and Casino. Enjoy friendly service, a wide variety of specials and promotions, plus all of your favorite slots and table games. All right, so here's a look at your weather headlines. Patchy morning fog, mainly dry and warmer, although there's a slight chance for showers on Sunday. We'll get into that here in our deeper dive, and possibly dry through mid-February. All right, let's get into all of that. We're going to talk about that potential for rain this weekend, and in the next couple of weeks, maybe some changes in that overall pattern. We're going to get into that in our deeper dive, sponsored by Shasta Hearing Aids.
Hearing isn't just about sound, it's about being part of every moment. This isn't your grandparents' hearing aid, it's a smart hearing aid for modern life. It's Bluetooth enabled, easy to control from your phone with your personal prescription, delivering the clarity you need. All that technology at half the cost of competitors, so you never miss a moment worth hearing. With our Here For You program, you get personal care and support every step of the way. This is what quality care sounds like.
Well, temperatures are certainly cooling off a little bit this morning. We're in the upper 30s, and many of us for the Valley. Oroville 44, 29 degrees for Alturas and Susanville. much colder as we'd expect in the mountains, but pretty mild out along the coast. 41 for Eureka. And there you can see some of the visibility. Do we have some dense fog in some areas here, but that's to be expected for many of the mountain valleys of Trinity County. Even seeing some patchy fog in Scott Valley in western Siskiyou County, but really not much in the way of fog in the valley here this morning. And I do expect, should any fog develop this morning in parts of the valley, it'll dissipate here pretty quickly. That dense fog advisory most likely will expire before noon, by the way, for Glenn and Butte counties. But we could see some more fog possibly developing tomorrow morning. And you know what? We could see another repeat of that going into Saturday night and into Sunday morning. But really overall, we just haven't seen a ton of fog over the last couple of weeks here, but there has been. You know, of course, you know that if you live in any areas that have seen that fog. But that cold front being booted up to the north, that's because we got high pressure in place. But this storm system right here, this is what we got to watch here as we go into the second half of the weekend, because that's when we see that best potential for showers. Taking a look at Futurecast, you see here as we go through the day today, still some sun filtered through those clouds here. And I think that'll be the case again on Saturday, although the ridge may amplify a bit here on Saturday, which means a little bit more sunshine. This is what we've got our eyes on here, though, as we do go into Saturday night and early Sunday morning. You can see as this progresses eastward, you've got some showers, and early Sunday morning, maybe a stray sprinkle in parts of the north end of the valley. But it's kind of dry. The air's kind of dry out there, so most likely we'll just see some virga, which is rain that evaporates before it reaches the ground come Sunday morning, but, you know, maybe a passing sprinkle. And then that's it. By the time we get into midday Sunday, we start to see those clouds begin to move on out, or more sunshine for Sunday afternoon. Another weak clipper system that could give places like Smith River, Crescent City, Gas Key, for example, maybe a chance for a stray sprinkle through Monday morning hours, but by Monday evening, Monday night, we're looking at dry conditions again. Not a lot of rainfall, most likely less than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, where we'll see most of that rainfall in Del Norte County, much less than that to the south. No measurable rainfall is expected east of that. So looking at the big picture, again, there's the area of low pressure, there's that cold front. You see how it just breaks apart? The ridge right here, this is budging a little bit off to the east, but still strong enough that the storm system is butting up against that ridge, breaking apart and weakening as it moves closer to us, which is why we don't expect a lot of rainfall. Then going through next week, look at that. Big ridge of high pressure. Not only is going to keep us dry, but we're talking about spring-like temperatures with highs in the 70s for the north end of the valley through all of next week. Drier than normal conditions. However, what I want to mention is this. Number one, this is the lightest, the lowest category right here. When you start getting to the greens and you start seeing better chances of above normal rainfall. So we're in the low end of that, meaning I am seeing some signs as we look at some of the long-range forecast models. For example, the European forecast model is sometime late in the week of February, so really late next week, seeing some potential changes. That is cooler temperatures, maybe some wet weather. But the GFS, as we saw, completely dry through all of next week. So I'm seeing signs that sometime after the first week of February, we may start to see signs of change, but not necessarily anything significant at this point. Nothing confident as far as, hey, it's going to be wet as we go into the middle of the month. But we are seeing at least that potential. In the meantime, still warmer than normal as we go through next week. 10-day trend, mid-60s through the weekend, temperatures hovering around 70 through all of next week into that next weekend, at least for Redding, probably mid to upper 60s for places like Chico and Red Bluff. Now, we've been talking about the above normal rainfall, below normal snowpack, but the lake levels still very healthy, still well over 100% of that historical average. We do need to mention that there is a coastal flood advisory. You've got high astronomical tides tomorrow, and that is going to create a few problems possibly. So with that higher tide, you got higher levels of the water levels, that is, and we could see some flooding along the immediate coast, in particular for parts of Humboldt County. In the meantime, we look at those wave heights, and you can see here for 5 p.m. today, not terrible. And then we take you into your Saturday, not changing much. They may increase a little bit here. So your marine forecast for your Friday, south winds at 5 to 10 knots. There's a look at your waves, your high, your low tide. No advisories as of yet, at least for this afternoon. Your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. There you can see temperatures in the mid-50s for those daytime highs. Now, I've included a chance for some light showers Sunday morning for Trinity County. Better chances for measurable rainfall especially as you head north. Places like Del Norte County, Smith River, Crescent City, Gas Key, most likely less than 1/4 of an inch, but I'd say about 1/10 of an inch or a little bit more. Western Siskiyou County, maybe a chance for a sprinkle or light shower Sunday morning. The rest, most likely not seeing much. Modoc County, there you can see the dry conditions that we do have for your Friday. Dry conditions on Sunday as well. Slight chance for a stray sprinkle. But the farther east you go on Sunday, the slimmer the chances of that rainfall. That's why, of course, for the valley, most likely dry as well. Just some clouds coming in on Sunday. And of course, today, it's dry as well. Temperatures in the low 60s. And then eventually, by the time we get in next week, a little bit warmer, maybe some mid to even upper 60s. 65 for Redding, as well as Anderson, 66 degrees for Palisadro, and Red Bluff, a high of about 64. There's your 7-day forecast for Redding. Temperatures back up to about 70 by the time we do get into Monday through Thursday. So it looks like we are going to see more of a spring-like pattern as we take you into next week. So yeah, it's getting warmer out there for next week. Not looking terribly promising right now in the long range to see some wet weather, but again, as I mentioned, looking at some of the long range forecast models, we're seeing that potential. Seeing that potential for maybe some change to get back to more of a winter-like pattern, where we could see some more wet weather. Nothing guaranteed though, and it is a pattern we're going to have to watch here. A couple people checking in this morning here. We're going to do this real quickly before we sign off. Got a late start this morning. There, of course, Barry saying good morning. Curtis saying, good morning, Mike. Don't know how much I missed. Good to see you figured it out. I did. You didn't really, hopefully you didn't miss much, but you can always go back. And if you didn't get a chance to watch this morning, you can always go back and go to the Coffee with Krueger section, and you'll be able to watch this version once we are done. We've got Edeline. Well, looks like we got a new face here. Good to see you. Good morning. Got my coffee in hand and glad it's Friday. You know what? I'm glad it's Friday too. Although Friday didn't kick off to a great start. I couldn't even get my morning show going here. But we got it going finally. It took me 45 minutes to figure it out, but we did. And glad that we were able to do it. Hopefully be back next Monday. Well, that's going to do it for us this morning, folks. I hope you have yourselves a great Friday, even a better weekend. Of course, the chances for showers not looking all that great. We've got some beautiful images here coming in from Soda Ridge. Have yourselves a great Friday, everyone, and we'll see you on Monday.